Okay. Hello. Hmm. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, great. Please, apologies. When I left the last call, it ended the call, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Okay, sorry. I'll drop him in notes now in the channel that everybody should join again. But the session is recorded now. So so let's just give time for more people to join. Apologies. This Chuck's on the call now. Not yet. Right. Um, Sir Chucks, I've made you co-host.
Good evening.
And I'm so sorry. Apologies, please.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, Mr. Chooks. We can hear you.
Yes, I hear
Yeah.
you. Good evening, too.
Yeah. Good evening, guys. All right. I think we are getting to a sizable number for us to be able to start. Let's get to 40 again. Okay, while we're waiting for us to hit the 40 mark, somebody, let me call somebody. Aji Segiri Give me a recap of what you remember yesterday. Ajis Ejiri. Who can't you hear? Or we can't hear you yourself. Ajis Ejiri, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Mr. Chooks.
Yes. Whether it's a he or a she said, we can't hear you. Kindly unmute yourself.
Maybe the he or she is talking to the person you're asking to recap what we did yesterday.
And the he or she is the person I'm actually talking to. All right, Gambo Usman. Gambo Usman. Your name sounds masculine, although your picture is looking feminine. So deliver my confusion. Gambo Usman.
Hi, good
Gambo.
evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Can you recap your question, please? I think I lost you a bit.
Okay, you're a female, first of all, right?
Yes.
Okay. Your name Gambo is sounding male in my head. Usman is sounding male. Yeah, so
I get that a lot.
yeah. Okay, so tell me what you learned yesterday, what you can remember in a very short bit.
Okay. What did I yeah, yesterday I think I learned about um types of testing. That was what we did. We mentioned different types of testing, black box, white box testing, functional performance testing, and the likes. Yeah.
Thank you. Tosin Williams. Tosin Williams. Tell me what you can remember from yesterday. Tosin Williams. You can unmute. Your mic is muted. Tosin Williams.
Hi, good evening.
Oh, another, okay. Tosin, unisex. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Tosin, she's a lady.
Okay, cool.
Okay, we learn about errors, defects, and failures. Where you talk about and the test types. Where we talk about types of test types, we have the functional, non-functionals, and functionals. We have the unit test and acceptance testing. Why the non-functionals, and also black box testing, and white board testing. Yes, I just
Okay,
went
thank
through
you.
the video because yesterday the network on my end was so bad.
Oh, okay, but at least you got something, and that's good enough.
Yes.
No male has spoken today, right? Only females. And the person next I want to call, I know is a woman. So I will not call you. Oh, Tibe, should I call you? Opeyemi is unisex, so I can't vouch for that name. Okay, Philip. Philip, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Tell us what you learned yesterday.
Okay, I learned a lot. We talked about, I think we talked about a little about the white box, black box testing, then type of testing plan, the error, then testing plan where we talk about the master's test and the tester's plan. Okay, the master's plan and the tester's plan.
Okay, thank you. What did I say specifically about this plan? There was something I said that there was a caveat to it. What was it? Can you
Regarding
remember?
I'm trying to remember the exact words.
The test plan. I told you that there are two test plans, which you rightly said, but I
Yes.
gave you a caveat to it.
Okay, the master plan is what the whole project, what is going to look like, what the test should look like, why the tester plan is, what the tester think, if we are going to test like this, or some adjustment, the tools that the tester might use in testing, the equipment. Those are the tester's plan.
All right, thank you. My final person, Sami Agbola. Sami Agbola. If you are in a good place, it will be good to see your face.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Can we see your video?
Not in a very cool place.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead then.
Yeah. All right. So I learned about the principle of testing. I learned about what's the name? I learned about what a failure is. I learned about what a defect is. And with respect to what was said last, I recall that you said the tester is the one who develops the test plan, and the lead, is person that owns, that develops the master plan or something like that. Yeah, pretty much. Yes. So that's it basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, everyone. We have gotten to our 40 mark, so I think we can now shoot. So I said we're going to be looking at defect severity and what's the name? Priority. So I'm going to be kicking off from that point. By the way, only 20 people did the assignment. Okay, 21. Only 21 people. And some of you did not. Okay. I think I've only seen one person thus far that did not download the ISTQB. Okay, first assignment before we carry on. Darry Parkinson, are you there? Henry.
Present.
All right, cool. Give me what, no. It's still in the class, right? And I'm going to skip it. Like I'm just going to rush that part. So for every test process stage, give me at least 2 work products for every test process stage. Give me 2 work products for every test process stage. Did you get that?
I got that.
Okay, so not to confuse you, but to ensure that you are reading or you're going through the textbook, the ISTQB textbook. I've already given you expo. The answer is inside. The answer is inside. So I will know those that went to read it and those that did not read it. So my question again is for every test process stage, remember there are 7. Give me at least 2 work products. I'm showing it on the screen again so it doesn't sound weird to you. The test process is on the screen. If you want to screen grab, that's fine. If you want to do a screenshot, if you want to snap it, so it doesn't sound new to you. Okay, I think we are done there. Let's go into what we have for the day. Our time is already fast spent. I want to try and finish this slide by this week. So next week, we'll go into practicals. Next week, I want to take test cases and I'll just teach, I think, in one class for test case, and the other ones will be putting your hands on the plow. So next week, my plan is we have one day to learn test cases, and then we have the remaining days to write the test case, to write the defect or defects as the case may be, and also to design, to have a test case design. Dari, please help me note that and send to my Slack DM. So I'll repeat. Yeah, so I'll repeat for next week. What I have in my head is to teach us what test case is. That's the first day, which should be Thursday. Then on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be writing test cases. Please note, you might be sharing your screen so I see what you are writing. Then we'll also write defects, and then we'll also do test case designs. So if you need to get a laptop, please do, because we would be sharing our screen in order for me to see that you're getting what I'm actually talking about. I told us previously, if you are able to do your analysis right, you'll be able to have good coverage. Your analysis will help you write your test cases properly. If you are able to write your test cases properly due to good analysis, you're like 60% done. Your test cases helps to refine your mind, helps you see what others don't see. So don't neglect test cases. I will not go there. That's not what I'm teaching today. All right, thank you. Brother, I believe you got that.
Yes, I did. I'll share it with you in the Slack game.
All right, thank you. Okay, so defect severity and priority. Last time we spoke about defects, and we said defects are deviations from the intended behavior of the system. Now we are talking about defect severity. The word severity means how much a damage it causes, what's the effect. Therefore, defect severity is a measure of how much a defect affects the functionality of a software program. Remember, I said defect is known to software testers, while bug is known to the developers. So it's also known as bug severity. How is defect severity determined? The impact on functionality. For instance, we are supposed to do send money, and then instead of the money to go to Philip, having put in his correct details, it even brought out his full name, registered with BVN. The money goes to Tosin Williams. The impact on functionality, the importance of the function, then the client's requirement. Am I blocking my slide?
No.
Okay, so you can see the last part of the slide, right?
Which is client's requirements.
Okay, thank you. So these are the things that determine the defect's severity. Now, the defect severity, let's continue. Let me just continue so I don't go that way. What are the severity levels? Yeah. The first severity level is critical, a defect that prevents the software from being used. So let me ask question. This is an open question, not for assignment. An open question. I want to send money, right? And instead of me sending it, after putting in David's complete details, and it brings out David's name, it goes to Sami Agbola. Is that defect critical?
Yes, it's a critical defect.
Please explain.
Okay, because the money was meant to go to a different user and it went to a different user. If the defect is not fixed, the bank will lose millions and will also lose customers.
Okay.
Okay.
You are
So
correct, right? But it's not a critical defect.
it's
A
a high
critical,
defect.
the critical defect is what stops you from using the app at all. So that defect now is high in priority, very high, very, very high. But the critical defect is what stops you from using the app. To the business, right, is critical. Even to you as a tester, it's actually critical. But since it's not stopping us from using the app, because scammers can decide, this is good, let me keep using it. From our definition, that defect is not critical. It is high because it affects the core product functions. I'll repeat that again. A critical defect, you can't use the app, you can't use the website, you can't use the software, you can't use the product. It's critical. But when it affects the core function, just like the example I gave that you want to send money from person A to person B, but it gets to person C, it's a very high defect. In different establishments, they can tell you it's a critical defect. In different establishments, that's fine by their standard. For a business person, that is very critical. For human beings like us, it is very critical. Very, 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 very critical. But ISTQB standard says unless you are not able to use the app, the severity is not critical. Because you can still use the app to do other things. Probably there's pay bill, there's airtime, there is request money, there is send a high five, there's cryptocurrency on the app. So you are able to use other parts of the app. But that part is a very high defect. So a high defect is a defect that affects the core product functions. A medium defect is a minor deviation from product requirements. The low one is a minor bug that causes slight inconvenience to users. Just to buttress on them, the medium is a minor deviation. Let's say instead of it to bring Sami Agbola, it brings out Sami Agbu, right? Is a minor deviation from product requirements. It says let it have the full name, but it's only fetching the first name and a little of the last name. That can be due to the developer not giving enough space for characters. It might have limited the character to, let's say, 7 letters. So it's a minor deviation from product requirements. So that's medium. A low one, let's say your send money button is supposed to be on the right, but it's on the left. The function still works, but the design is not according to the implementation, rather, is not according to the design. Then we can say that's a minor bug. or a minor defect. Any question from that? Can I go ahead?
Yes, you can.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how is defect severity used? The severity of the defect is used to prioritize and plan the resolution of defects. It's all these defect severity is also included in your test report, which also includes the defect priorities and steps to replicate the problem. When we get to defect reporting, I will show you how to write out the steps to replicate the problem. Very, very essential. After your skill of writing test cases, your next skill should be how to report defects. Very, very essential. So the severity is used to prioritize and plan the resolution of defects. Defect priority now is the process of ranking software bugs or by their urgency, impact, and severity. It helps ensure that the most important issues are addressed first. Now, the priority is not determined by the tester. I'll repeat that. The priority is not determined by the tester. The severity is determined by the tester, but the priority is not determined by the tester. I remember our president talking about this on the group chat some weeks ago, I believe, yeah. The priority is not determined by the tester. Because you think this defect is costly, doesn't mean the business thinks it is costly. To you, you can say, okay, the login button, the N is not spelled, is not put in the letter, and then you give it severity that is critical. But it's not priority. You can go live without that. Even if it's only log that is on that button, it's not damaging to the product. It's not stopping the functionality of that product. That is why we say either the developers or the business owner determines the defect's priority. Why is defect priority important? It helps developers focus on what is most important, especially when you have very few hands. When you are operating with a lean team, where you have only one back-end developer, one front-end developer, one tester, one UI UX designer, one scrum master, one business owner. Priority helps everyone to focus on what is most important. So for the example I gave previously about the send money, the business can say, oh no, this is top priority. How would I send money from point A, supposed to land in point B, but lands in point C? Everybody focuses on that and then ensures that is resolved. It also helps to deliver quality products within timeline. You don't major on the minor and minor on the major. You don't major on the minor and minor on the major. The priority helps you to major on the major and minor on the minor, meaning what is most important should be your first call. Then the rest, what are nice to haves, can be done later. There's a saying one of my product owners used to say, he said, there is a nice to have, and then there is a must have. Your must have requires high priority. Your nice to have can require low, or if you want to say no priority. So how is defect priority determined? By the severity, which is, as I said before, determined by the tester, and then the priority, which is determined in consultation. Note the word in consultation with the product manager, the project manager, product owner, scrum master, stakeholders, majorly. Then the criteria is what's the impact of this defect? How fast can we resolve it? Would we need to start the product coding from the beginning, or how the technical complexity? That's what I'm trying to explain about. Would you need to start the product coding all over? Would you need to start designing again from the beginning? So all this helps to determine the defect priority. The defect priority levels: critical, high, medium, and low, just like we saw in the sorry, it's still 1 minute.
Sorry, please. I want to ask a question. Is Favor Elijah the same person as Favor Decent? Does anyone know?
Yes, he's the one. He's the same person.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you. Breaking transmission, we're back. All right, so defect severity levels also come out in defect priority levels: critical, high, medium, low. But however, please note, I'll bring this back. Different strokes for different folks. In your establishment, they can decide to say that something is critical. Please follow. I'll repeat that. In your establishment, they can decide to say that something is critical, especially when it comes to stakeholders, because they, in quotes, have the bigger picture. I'll repeat that word. In quotes, they have the bigger picture. So don't go and be quarreling that it's not critical, it's very low. Okay, calm down. They say it's critical, please attend to it, because you might not be seeing what they are seeing. From where they stand and where you stand are two different platforms. So please always put that in perspective. Defect triage is the process of prioritizing defects based on the severity, the risk, and the frequency. It can be implemented on any size project, and it is equally beneficial for large projects. If you are not getting me, please let me know. If you are getting me, let me know. If you are not getting me, let me know. If you have a question, please drop it. Let me continue. Should I go ahead? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Right, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is the defect life cycle, or as developers may call it, a bug life cycle. It's basically the specific set of states that defect or bug goes through in its entire life. The reason is for you to know the state of the defect you have raised. Is it in retest mode? Is it with the developer? Is it with the product owner? Is it with the test, whoever is involved, whichever stakeholder is involved in this circle? So there are basically a few steps, and I'll just run through it. The first one is new. As soon as you are logging a defect, as soon as you are opening a defect, its status is called new. Once you are done opening that defect, you assign it to whoever is in charge of correcting defects. While I was in my former establishment, we assign our defects to the product owner, and then the product owner assigns it to the developer. And the reason why it was like that was we were working on a lean theme, and then the biggest issue happens. Why they did that was the product owner knows the less busy developer. The product owner knows the less busy developer. So once you open it, you need to assign it to somebody. Please follow the good way they do it in your company. If they assign it to a product owner, if you fight and say, okay, you want to assign it to a developer, and they agree, continue that process. But if they don't agree due to one of the explanations I just gave, please assign to the product owner or the Scrum Master or whoever. But just know that once you finish opening it, you must assign it to somebody. That's the most important. You don't keep it on your queue. You must assign it to somebody. Okay. Now, when the developer starts working on it, the status changes to open. Some people will give it what's the name? Let's go by the standard. It's open. Different softwares have different names for them. But just for this, once the developer starts working on it, it is open. Once the developer is done, he changes the status to fixed and assigns it back to either the product owner or to the tester. The product owner, if involved, changes the status to pending retest and assigns to the QA. When the QA takes that of the QA retest, I call this retest another name. Who can remember what it is? Who can remember? I gave another name for retesting. Anybody, if you can drop it on the chat, that's fine. If you cannot remember, let me fire down. Regina, you want to answer? I gave retest another name. Oh, no, I've not gotten there. Sorry, I've not gotten there. Another name for retesting is confirmation testing. We'll get there later on, but just have it at the back of your mind. It's either called a retest or a confirmation test. Once it is fixed, once it is solved, once the defect you reported is now working as expected, then you can change the status to done or closed. But if it is not fixed, if what you reported is not corrected, you don't send it to done, you send it back to assigned. So you assign it back to either the product owner, product manager, or the developer. You only close a defect when it meets the specified requirement. You only close a defect when it meets the specified requirement. So I'll continue. Testers, we did this yesterday. So first, the person that asked about defect, severity, and priority, I believe I've been able to convince you and not confuse you about what it is, right? Who asked that question yesterday? I can't remember who asked that question yesterday. Can we continue? Can we continue?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Oh, Akim Adegoke, did I answer your question? Are you clear on it now? Okay, thank you. All right, so we continue. I will just flash this. I will flash it and I will remove it. So if you can catch it, fine. If you cannot catch it, sorry. This is your assignment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bam. If you caught it, good. If you did not catch it, say journey to Dari. Hello, Dari.
Yes, please.
Please, on the assignment, add the page. Each person should add the page on the ISTQB syllabus where the assignment is found.
I think I personally lost you. I think I was listening to you on my other system, but my phone, I lost you when you were talking about that. So can you recap? Sorry.
Okay, so for every test process, there are work products.
Okay.
Yeah. So give me at least 2 work products for every level of test process. Test planning, test monitoring and control,
That's the
test
first question you
implementation.
asked now, right?
That's the first question. The other one was class 4. This one is
Okay.
assignment.
Yes, I got the assignment. I thought you were saying they should reference the ISTQB where they got the
Yes,
ISTQB
yes. So in that assignment, reference the page where you saw it.
in the ISTQB manual, right?
Yes, in the ISTQ manual, because I saw somebody that did not upload the syllabus. So I feel that person did not go and download it.
Okay, I've updated the assignment.
Okay, thank you. The reason I'm doing this is one of the reasons why we are doing this training and we are taking our time is so we don't churn out have big testers. We don't churn out those that are testers by mouth, right? So that we don't churn out those that we cannot back up. That's why you see I'm taking my time. So if I get a job from America or Netherlands tomorrow, I can come and pick Dari and say, I trained Dari, she can handle it, and I can go and eat the money. She will also eat aside, and then we'll be sleeping together. We'll be sleeping and enjoying the money. So please, I will use my chancellor's word. Pay attention. I'm sure somebody will be smiling now. All right, so test levels. We'll be speaking about test levels today. Previously, it was 4, but ISTQB 4.0 has upgraded it to 5 levels. That's why you need to update yourself. Don't stay in your yesterday. So the 5 levels of testing are component testing, which we also know as unit testing, the component integration testing, which we also know as unit integration testing. We have the system testing, the system integration testing, and the acceptance testing. These are the 5 levels of software testing. So I'm going to be explaining them gradually. We go with the first one. Component testing, also known as unit testing, focuses on testing components in isolation. It often requires specific support such as test harness or unit test frameworks. It's normally performed by developers in their development environment. So I'm going to explain components in 2 ways. I'm going to be explaining from the developer's perspective, and then I'm going to be explaining from the user's perspective. So I'm starting with the user's perspective. On this page, right? There's my mouse. I believe you can see my slide, right? Hello?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can
thank
see.
you. Okay, so this word file here is a component. This edit is a component. This view is a component. The insert is a component. So component testing says from the user's perspective, if I click file, it should work appropriately. And remember I said from the user's perspective, if I click edit, it should work without problem. So I'm testing the component called edit. Note I said from the user's perspective. Now, from the developer's perspective, the code which is used to write new, open, import slides, make a copy, everything on this file, when it is tested, it is called component testing. From the developer's end, checking his code. Remember, we also call component testing unit testing. Remember, we also call component testing unit testing. So when the developer is testing his, so when the developer is testing his, he's doing unit test. Now, the user's perspective is not in ISTQB syllabus, but from experience, I can tell you that we also do component testing from the beginning, from the front end, which I believe I've explained. So that's component testing, checking every component in the product to ensure that they are working excellently. Now, component integration, also known as unit integration testing, focuses on testing the interfaces and interactions between components. Component integration testing is heavily dependent on the integration strategy like bottom-up, top-down, and big bang. Assignment number 2, Larry, are you there? Assignment number 2, write short notes, not with ChatGPT or Meta AI. Write short notes on bottom-up, top-down, and big bang. Write short notes. Please do it as pertains software testing. I know. I told you the beauty of the food is when you're eating it, not when you're smelling it. Don't just smell it, eat it. So write short notes about the following: bottom-up, top-down, and big bang. Back to explaining component integration testing. Now, file is a component on its own. Edit is a component on its own. View is a component on its own. Now, when we put all of them together in one place like this, all of them should be able to work appropriately, not spoiling the other one or not affecting the other one. I'm using layman terms so that you first understand the concept. Then as we continue in the, you'll be able to now technically be able to explain better. But if you don't understand the foundation, sorry. Any question on component integration testing? Gloria, any question? Gloria, one of the.
No,
Any
sir.
question? Okay.
Sir?
Yeah, Usman, go ahead, please.
Yeah, initially I thought component integration testing is talking about when you are integrating one component with the other. Does it work normal or not? I thought that was the integration testing of components. Can you please make it more clearer?
Okay, so if I got what you said, integration testing Sorry, please repeat it because I didn't get it very well.
Yeah, initially I thought when you said component integration testing, you mean that when you test the integration of one component to the other, are they working as expected or not? I thought that is the component integration testing. But the way you explain it
Yes.
now, I didn't understand. Yeah.
Okay, so let me come back again to what a component is. A component,
Okay.
this file like this is a component. It's written on
Yeah.
its own, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Edit is written on its own,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
If I
sir.
now bring two of them together, like we
Okay.
see here, and then this one is affecting this one,
Okay.
there's a problem.
All right, sir.
So they are both components. You now put them together. Remember that these codes are written differently.
Exactly.
So when you combine them together, they must work without disrupting each other.
Okay. Okay.
So if I click edit here now, it should not show me open. It should show me redo, undo, cut, copy, paste without formatting. Are we there? Notice
Yes.
I'm giving you foundation. There's still a
Yeah.
senior brother to it. But if you don't understand the younger brother, you build on the wrong foundation. That's why I'm using the barest minimum explanations. Do you get?
Yes, sir. I get it now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any question? Oluwasami, are you good now? Oluwasami, are you good?
He said no.
No. Oh, okay. Please, yes, Henry, you can leave the assignment open till 9:30. Thank you. So the assignment of yesterday, you can still leave it open till 9:30. That's fine. No, sir. I think they might drop something on the chat. Let me look at that. Meaning they work well independently, but when we bring them together, they don't work well. Equals to component integration failed.
Yeah, I was just trying to provide more clarity to Sman's
Context, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Olusami, do you get it now? Some of you get there. Some of you answer your question. Let me quickly. There are two Samis here. Oluwasami, are you clear? Please answer. We are already going behind schedule. Are you there? Okay, so let me answer some.
Yeah, I think you should continue. Oluwasomi Ogunleye, please type the question you have so that we don't derail the class.
Okay. Sami, is a tester supposed to know if the defect he or she discovered in the back end or front end, or his job is to identify and move on? A growing tester should know. There comes to a level in your testing experience, you should know. This, at least, out of 10, you should be able to know that 8 is either front end or back end. As you grow, at the foundation, you might not be able to decipher what a back-end error is or what a front-end error is. But as you grow, ensure you know it. It adds a feather to you. It adds a feather to your cap. It adds your rank. So when you are speaking, the developers will not use you and do yeah. Because developers, they will use you play. All right. So we can go ahead. We component integration testing. Okay, so I'm done with that explanation. The next is system testing. System testing focuses on the overall behavior and capabilities of the entire system, often including functional testing of end-to-end tasks and the non-functional testing of quality characteristics. So what is system testing? Now we have built this PowerPoint slide. We have checked, we have built file, we have built slideshow, we have built create new page, we have built the close button, we have built the typing button. When we are finished building everything, right, we now want to check that from beginning to the end, the software works appropriately. That is called system testing. We built a send money application. We want to ensure now that from logging in to entering the user's account details, to knowing the user's balance, to entering the account number of the recipient, to sending the money itself, VAT, to logging out, everything, the whole system is flowing. That's called system testing. No questions on that, I believe. System integration testing focuses on testing the interface of the system under test and other systems and external services. Now, this is where I want to explain a bit more. On your banking app, you can buy data, right? You can buy airtime. You can buy electricity. You can also do betting, and then you can send money. You can do investments. Now, I'll use a bank. Let me not call any bank's name. The bank, let me use the bank. The bank's major functionality is to send money from point A to point B. Let's say everything that process requires for it to be successful is built by the bank, right? Now, we now want to buy data. The bank will now have to call the data servicing company. Please give me 1 minute. Okay, thank you. So, as I was saying, the bank app now wants to inculcate the user being able to buy data or airtime. The bank needs to call the data servicing company, probably by use of APIs or whichever way they want to integrate with them. When you get to API class, you would understand more of that. But know that system integration is the testing of communication between two systems. System 1 fully built, system 2 fully built. When they merge together, you still should be able to achieve what you need to achieve. Any question on system integration testing?
No, for
Okay, thank you. So we can move ahead. Acceptance testing, which is the last type of testing on this ISTQB process. Some people call it acceptance testing, some people call it user acceptance testing. But whichever one you want to call it is fine. Acceptance testing focuses on validation and on demonstrating readiness for deployment. which means that the system fulfills the user's business needs. Ideally, acceptance testing should be performed by the intended users. The main forms of acceptance testing are user acceptance testing, operational acceptance testing, contractual and regulatory acceptance testing, beta and alpha testing. So I'll explain what it means. Now we are done we are done fixing all the defects. We now say, okay, stakeholders, we are done with the product you said we should develop. Now come and check if what we developed was what you actually told us to do. That's called acceptance testing. Can now break it down into internal acceptance testing. I'll repeat that. I can break it down to be internal acceptance testing. That's one. Number two, the user acceptance. Some companies can also call it user acceptance testing, and it's fine, right? Because they are not the ones that develop the software. They are also users in that context. Then, but the one we call UAT is where you are using the original app. This acceptance testing can be done on the Alpha platform. The acceptance testing can be done on the Alpha platform, meaning that you can use dummy data. But when you come to Victor, what am I coming again on? Okoha Victor. Okay, so as I was saying, the example of acceptance testing.
Sorry, the examples of acceptance testing, like you're explaining something, my network is bad.
Okay, so I said acceptance testing is when the development team is done with developing, and then they tell the stakeholders, "Oh yeah, come and check what we developed." That's called acceptance testing. There's what I call, notice the word I said, I call internal acceptance testing. Now, this internal acceptance testing can be done in two ways. It's either you are using the alpha test platform or you are using the beta test platform. The alpha test platform, you can use dummy data. Dummy data is simply not real. It's not real. Dummy data is simply not real data. Then the beta platform is real data. Please know that on beta, it is real data. So if it's 10,000 you have in your account and you are doing 10,000 naira transfer to somebody you don't know, your 10,000 has successfully been deposited in that person's account. You are a free giver. Anima Shaun. Thank you. So please note that. Then the user acceptance testing, which is UAT, normally standard practice is that this UAT, thank you, David, this UAT is supposed to be done by external people. External, that's those that they were not involved in development of the app, including the business owners. I said standard-wise. You're supposed to bring people from outside the company to come and check. Okay, let us see what you're doing. If it's acceptable by the users, then that's fine. Operational acceptance testing is also checking if it meets all the requirements. Then this last one, contractual and regulatory acceptance testing. Very, 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 very critical. Some major banks, some banks were closed last year because of this testing. Contractual and regulatory. Some people will call it SLA. You see these two guys, they can shut down your business if you neglect it. SLA is very, very important. They call it the hidden print. Very, very important. Ensure that what is being built appropriately. My number three question, and the answer is in the ISTQB textbook. This contractual and regulatory acceptance testing props up this question. Give me the difference between QA and QC. Quality assurance and quality control. Daria, are you with me?
I'm very much with you.
Thank you. So give me the difference between QA, quality assurance, and quality control. Is in the also reference where you saw it in the textbook page, so and so. Any question, any confusion? Can I go ahead? Just write yes in the chat box so that I go ahead.
Yes, for now.
Thank you. All right. Aha, this is where we call it a night. What's the time? Yes, I think we can rest here. 9:15. Yeah, I think we can rest here. View slideshow. Remember when I was talking about the defect life cycle or the bug life cycle, I talked about retesting. And I said another name for retesting is confirmation testing. What it simply means is you are checking if the defect you raised has been fixed properly. Case in point, you gave a tailor your cloth and then you wanted the right hand to be white and the left hand to be black. But the tailor came back and gave you left hand to be white and right hand to be black. Did I mix it up? Right hand black, left hand white. Then the tailor came back, gave you right hand white, left hand black. You now told the tailor, no, that's not what I wanted. I want the right hand to be black and I want the left hand to be black. You return this cloth to the tailor and the tailor now says, okay, I'm done doing your request. I'm done fixing what you requested. You now go back and you now check, okay, actually the right hand is black and then the left hand is white. That is called retesting or confirmation testing. Now, remember in the defect life cycle, I said if it doesn't meet your criteria, you ensure you send it back to the developer or the product owner or whoever is responsible for assigning the defects to whoever is going to be fixing it. Don't forget that. That's very, very important. Attendance form. Darian and Henry, please attend to that. Now, regression testing. You have 10,000 naira in the bank, right? And then Udeme, in a magnanimous way, a very buoyant heart, now decided to send you 100,000, right? Regression test says, check to ensure that when she sends the 100,000, your 10,000 is still there. So ensuring that what was there before is still there because of a new addition is called regression testing. Very necessary. Very, very necessary. Hope we got that. Just type yes on the chat if you got it. You have 54 in this group. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, So I'll go to the next one, which is smoke testing. Is a type of software testing that checks the basic functionality of a software build. Please note the word build. So when, okay, let me use an iPhone. What's the latest iOS now? I think it's 18.01, right? I think so. Let's just say 18.0. Come again?
18.0.
Oh, I did not download that one. It's 9 gig. What am I downloading 9 gig for? Yeah. Okay. So the latest one now is 18.02, right? Smoke testing says that everything that was sent in 18.02 works appropriately. The build itself, the whole build itself works appropriately. Do you get my point? Smoke testing and sanity testing, it used to confuse me before, but it is what it is. Smoke testing is a type of testing that checks the basic functionalities of a software build. This testing is not as intense as your original testing. That is to say, once they send 18.02, okay, somebody can actually open his phone, he can on the phone, he can go to his apps, he can make a call, he can check his contacts, he can download the new app, basic things like that, the most basic functionalities. That's what smoke testing is all about. Is regression testing speaking to an update action? No. Sammy, I'll get back to you. Give me a minute. So I was trying to explain smoke testing. So to ensure that the build is working appropriately. So the sanity testing, I almost said sanitation, is a quick check to confirm that a software application works as expected after changes have been made. My iPhone, no, let me not go there. One of my devices, to avoid stories that touch, because this will be on the internet. One of my phones, I lost the Face ID after an update. They sent an update and my Face ID became no ID. Up to today, I can't use Face ID again on that device. And it's sanity test just ensure that all these things are working as expected after a new change is made. So back to you, Sir Sami Agbola. Is regression testing speaking to an update action? An update action. So for an update action. So just remember I told you that when you are defining in ISTQB, you must be very careful of the words you use. One word can scatter everything. Just one word, because this is your update action now. It's not sleeping well with me. Regression is checking that what was existing previously is still existing, is still working properly. Okay, the man you want to call me. Okay, let's hand you over to
No, when you are
the
done. When you're done. Please.
Okay, so this regression testing, I said before, that your 10,000 that is in the bank, ensure that 10,000 is still there because they give you 100,000. So your mind is not on the 100,000 that is given. Your mind is that the 10,000 that they gave you is still there. So the 100,000 should not spoil the 10,000. Bringing it down to software, what was existing should still be functional even when a new, either whether you call it an update or a new feature is added. So then you can go ahead here.
Yeah, I think you've explained it. I don't know if there's a need to add, but what I wanted to add was the update in itself. I understand your use of the term updates. Update in itself may not be a new feature, a new function added. It might be a modification to an existing feature. So say Facebook, or let's even use WhatsApp. WhatsApp has a bug now that they haven't rectified since for some months now, where what's it called? What's that status? Where status time is not in sync. So you see, before, say around October, it was fine. If someone posted something just now, you will see it's in order in which the latest messages are at the top. Right now, if you go to your WhatsApp, I don't know if it's just my phone, but I've noticed it since last year. If you go to WhatsApp, it doesn't sync. Your status update, you see a 6 hour ago at the top. You see a 1 hour ago in number 2. You see 22 minutes in number 6. It's not synchronous, right? The developer or the team might then decide, oh, this is a bug that we need to fix, right? So it's an existing feature that broke. And it broke, it wasn't like that before. It broke because either there was a new addition, a push, a fix to an existing functionality that someone pushed, and it caused that time sync to break. So it means that after that build was sent, I don't know if Chooks want to use this scenario to explain smoke and sanity tests, but an appropriate test was not done after that build that broke status sync. So when they were doing regression, if the tester had a test case that said WhatsApp status, check that it sync, the time sync is in the order of latest to oldest. If that was in that tester's test case, when he was doing a regression, if an automated script was written for that, when he was running his regression after that build was deployed, the person would have noticed that there's a bug there, and they would have rolled back that build. So a regression test it might not necessarily be that a new feature was added. It might be a modification to an existing feature. So imagine if they decide to fix this issue of status, and in the process of pushing the fix for status, it now breaks profile images, right? Profile images, you could see WhatsApp profile images very well. But because somebody pushed not an update, not a new feature, but pushed a fix to an existing feature, it now broke something somewhere. So regression is checking that what we had before, this new thing you added, is still working fine, right? That's what regression checks. So there are two tests that happen. You test the actual feature that was added or the actual bug that was fixed. Then you go back and check every other part of your system. Is it working fine? Is it still sane? That's what I wanted to add. Sorry for taking your time.
All right, thank you. So I believe that has been cleared. Right? Assignment number, how many have I given now? 4, right? Gary?
Yes, 4.
So the 5th one, give me at least one app that is used for these remaining types of tests: API test, stress test, load test, and performance test. I will explain them to you. Just give me one tool that you can use. I will spoiler alert for API test. It's Postman. I don't want to see Postman. So don't give me Postman for API test. I adventure you have not seen Postman before. I will just open Postman for you, and then you see what it. So when you get to API class, I believe your tutor would explain more on what an API is. But this is basically what an API looks like. Then you get to test it, you get to check that everything is working. So aside Postman, give me one test tool for
Is that just how you laughing?
Trying to spend this one for API test, stress test, load test, and performance test. So I'll quickly explain the four of them. API test, there are things called API calls. It helps interaction between two systems. API calls helps interaction between two systems. So in your API testing, you learn more. I'm just giving you a paraphrase. Your stress test, I explained this previously, but just for a recap, you can be able to eat 10 wraps of a bar, right? That's what you can eat. We now say, okay, let's increase it to 11. Can you handle it? Let's increase it to 12. Can you handle it? Let's increase it to 13. Can you handle it? Wherever we increase it to, and then you are not able to handle it again, that's where your stress, that's where your stress test should end. Your capacity to hang on until you break. So your breaking point is your stress test. I'll get back to you. 1 minute. So that point where you can no longer take it, when you don't reach you here, and then you burst, that's stress test. Your load test is just checking how many you can carry. How many you can carry. Give me one tool. Oluwasami, give me one tool for API testing, stress testing, one for load testing, and one for performance test. One tool minus Postman. Then load test, like I've explained load test, and then this is the last one, performance testing. Let me see if I can explain using any of this. Get all users, okay. It's my okay. So it's okay. I'm trying to recognize this guy. Okay, I can use this guy. Get your from send. Oh no, they have turned off my server. It's the weekend. Okay, I'll just use this. Performance. Yep, I can use this. Performance test. You see all this time. 2.03 seconds, 35.73 milliseconds, 1.59 milliseconds. What performance says is how fast can we hit the server and come back with a response. So if you look at this, it took 2.03
Hello? Can anyone still hear Jukes?
No, we
No.
can't. No, we can't.
No.
Okay, we'll just give him some time. I think his network, something has happened to his network. Nkwa Victor is asking what the team's name is. Victor, are you on the channel?
Tony Bello. Okay. Udeme, I'm done.
Oh, okay. We lost you for some minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, the network was off, but I'm good.
Okay.
Without any further questions, I think I'm good.
Someone dropped a question just now. Can you come again on stress testing and load testing?
Okay, thank you. So I'll start with load testing. Finifolua, I want to be is a unisex name. I cannot say that a man and a woman. Okay, let me use your bank account. Your bank account can accept only 20 million euros, right? That's the highest you can carry. That's the load you can carry. Now, I now want to check if I put 21 million euros, can it still carry it? If it carries it, I can increase your load to 21 million euros. If I put 22 million euros, can it still carry it? If it can carry it, I will increase your money to 22 million euros. If I put 23 million and then your bank crashes or your account crashes, then I know that the highest you can go with all your strength is 22 million. Do you get that? Fifolua. Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Richard, I agree with you. Everybody gets to understand things better when you speak money. Any other question?
Yes, I have a question. Yeah, this is Somi
Yes,
here.
Sami, go ahead, please.
Yeah, most of the interaction you've been mentioning is speaking to the developers, right? So, at what point do we talk to the DevOps engineer? At what point does a tester interact with the designer? So that's just the question, because it's more like front end, back end, right? I don't know interactions with the DevOps, with the designers, like that.
Okay, so I use the word stakeholders most of the time. So I don't start naming all of them one by one, right? So from the beginning of the project until you leave the project, you interact with all of them because you get to understand. That's why I said when somebody asks, okay, I think you were the one that said, should the tester know how to differentiate between a back-end defect and a front-end defect? As you grow with your interactions, you will get to know which one is back-end, which one is front-end. These interactions are with all the stakeholders. Not all companies have DevOps. Do you get? So, but you communicate with everybody from the beginning. If possible, communicate with the CEO. So you get to understand better and give a better software, a better product. Did I answer your question? Sami?
Yes, yeah, you did.
All right, thank you. David, you want to try the money part? It's very easy.
I
All
want
right,
to
let's
stress
try
the account.
Okay. Well, we're stressing behind bars. All right. Udeme, I'm good for the day. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
We're going to
thanks,
see you tomorrow.
everyone. Thank you, Sir Chooks.
All right.
Thanks, everyone, for
Thank you,
attending
Mr.
the
Chooks.
class. Yeah.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Chief.
Jokes.
I
Thank
dropped an
you.
important update in the channel. So after this call, you can go to the channel. Anyone who has missed all 3 classes that has happened so far will be taken out of the group. So please, Henry and Parkinson, please, I will expect today's attendance. I'll announce those that will be taken out of the channel, and I'll send the list based on the attendance of today. So do have a lovely evening and see you tomorrow for the last. Okay, it's not this week again. Tomorrow is a new week, but this is the last class for this week. Tomorrow is the first class for the new week. So thank you, Sir Chooks. Thanks, everyone. Have a lovely night.
All right,
Thank
bye.
you.
Everybody, bye.
Uh,